All right, what's up guys? It's John and Cody here with NBC, and today we're going to be doing part 2 of our 6-part sports card, the hobby series, and we're going to be talking about how to select the best sports cards to invest in, and we're also going to break down the different features, so stay tuned.
All right, now before we get into the meat of this video, because there is a lot of content within this video that we're going to get to, we just want you guys just to take a second, just chill out for a second. Hit the like button, because I already know you're going to like this content.
We love it.
Subscribe to the channel, because we're trying to get to 1,000, and you're so nice and you want to do it today.
Right.
Hit the bell notification so that you know when the next video drops within this series.
Very important.
Because there's 4 more. And then comment below on what you think of the content that we're soon to be covering for you. So, as we already mentioned, this is video 2 of the series. We're going to be diving in and trying to help everybody know cards better. So, John's going to start us off with the content. Now, be prepared. Again, this is a lot of content.
Long-winded right here, so just buckle up, take a seat, prop your feet up, and get ready to enjoy this content. So, before we get too into it, we want to focus on the players, the kind of person that you are going to be investing in. And obviously this is, you know, the strategy is going to change a little bit from person to person, but we are going to be recommending that you always go with a scorer. So in football, for example, you're going to want to focus on quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, quarterback obviously being the big one that you're going to want to target. 100%. In basketball, not necessarily the defensive player, the guy who's getting blocks and rebounds. While there is a place in the hobby for that person, and I know Cody loves defensive players, you want the guy who's dropping 40 to 50 points a game, the guy who's just nailing 3-pointers, and then obviously, let's just go ahead and jump to baseball. You want the guy who's hitting all the home runs, right? With over 100 RBIs, you know, that's the kind of player that you are going to want to target. So now that that's out of the way, Cody's going to go ahead and break down some of the different key features that you're going to want to focus on.
The first thing that you're going to want to know is that throughout the duration of a player's career, and sometimes even after they retire, they are going to continue to manufacture cards with the image of that player. However, we may all know, maybe this is already known by everyone, but the most valuable card out there is going to be the rookie card, meaning the cards from the first year of that player in the pros. I'm not talking about the cards from the minor leagues, because those don't really carry too much value. I'm talking about professional jerseys. So we'll cover a little bit on this in the future, but some sets will show the player in the collegiate uniform, and although those fetch a little bit of dollars, you really want to focus on the pro uniform, because that is what we're following.
Exactly. Nobody wants Jameis Winston in his FSU jersey. They want it in. They don't want it at all, really.
Actually, that's true. They don't want famous Jameis at all. But wait till this year. No, I'm just kidding. No one's going to still want him. But anyways, you're going to want to wrap it all up. You're going to want to look for a rookie card, rookie badge on a card, because that's going to note that this is a card from their rookie year. And you're going to want to focus on the pro jersey. Now, there's one exception with baseball. Bowman First. Bowman First is going to probably be, not probably, it is going to be the most valuable rookie card for a baseball player. And that's in contrast or in comparison to the ones with the rookie card badges. So look out for those rookies, man.
Absolutely. So now that Cody's kind of talked to you guys a little bit about the year of the card that you're going to want to be pursuing, those rookie cards, I'm going to talk a little bit about manufacturer. Before we get into the sets, you kind of need to understand that there are 3 major manufacturers out there. So you're going to have Panini, you're going to have Topps, and you're going to have Upper Deck. And what you need to understand is that each of those major manufacturers owns the licensing rights to specific sports. Now, for Panini, for example, they own the rights to basketball, they own the rights to football, and soccer, a couple other sports, but they do not own the rights to baseball. So as you can see here, we have a Shohei Ohtani. This is going to be their Gridiron Kings card. As you can see, he's just wearing a plain, general, basic jersey. There is no logo. Doesn't even say Angels on there. Now, it still does say RC, denoting that this is a rookie card, but they have no licensing right to the baseball, which is what Topps is going to have. Topps owns the rights to baseball, so they can't put anything on here. So that is going to make this card much less valuable. And I know Cody just explained the difference between professional and collegiate jersey. This is even below that level. This is not even a jersey. This is just a t-shirt that Shoei is wearing right here. So keep that in mind when you're selecting out product for specific sports, because it is going to make a big difference who the manufacturer is.
And I just want to mention, I just want to call him out, because you know what? He's one of our favorite guys. Jim Mint John. Look at him. Jim Mint on the Shoei.
Jim Mint, he got a Jim Mint Shoei.
He's
but
just showing off. He's
showing
in this video.
He's showing off right there.
So the final thing before we go into the specific card features, okay, is going to be the sets, which I've already kind of mentioned. We are not gonna scratch. We're gonna just barely scratch the surface with sets in this video, because that is a very, very long video that we plan to do in the future. However, there's going to be sets from each manufacturer for each year. There's a crap load of sets on an annual basis nowadays. So there's going to be different tiers for sets. Let's just say Panini Prizm at the high tier, Panini Mosaic is going to be probably mid tier, Panini Score will be probably low tier.
Right.
And it's important to know, or it's important to look out for these specific sets, because if you can stretch your dollar, if you can purchase a card from a higher or mid tier, it's going to be way better than from a low tier. Because, for example, strictly example purposes, Score is collegiate uniforms for the rookies, whereas Mosaic and Prizm, even though they cost more, are going to have the pro uniform. And generally, those sets, especially Prizm, are going to have beautiful parallel cards. They're going to have serial number cards that are they just pop and they draw the eye. They have a lot of card appeal, and we're gonna talk about that more in the brief future. However, just know that certain sets will definitely demand more value than other sets.
Just more collectible in general.
100%.
Some of the sets are just, you know, the premiere for each card.
And there's a price that comes with it. Don't get us wrong. But if you can get your hands on them, you definitely
that's what the collectors want.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've kind of broken down the kind of player that you're looking for, the kind of manufacturer, and the sets that come along, we want to focus really on the card features themselves. So we're going to start with card stock. So there's a couple different kinds of stock out there. As you can see here, we have a paper Kyler Murray card. This is from the Donruss set. And a couple things to note about paper stock is that while the surface is typically pretty good, it's a little bit more resistant to scratching than some of the shinier cards with the shiny finishes. The corners and the edges can get damaged a little bit more easily. So if you were to drop this card, you can ding an edge a lot more difficult than some of the other stocks that I'm going to be showing you here in a second. So the next kind of stock is this canvas material. So you can see this Justin Herbert card out of the Chronicles set. This is almost like a painting canvas material. So it's a little bit more textured, a little bit more rigid and resistant to bending, and it actually helps the corners and edges to stay a little bit sharper. And I've also noticed that the surfaces on these are usually very, very good, resistant to scratching. So that's the second kind of stock. This is the third kind. This is an acetate card here. This Jalen Hurts, also out of the Chronicle set. This material in particular, it's kind of cool. You can see through it, but I have noticed that it also shows a lot of the imperfections on the surface. So you can see scratches, print lines a little bit more prominently than you would be able to in a paper card or, you know, some of the other stocks. So while the edges on that card are going to be real straight, the corners are usually almost perfect. The surface is where it might trip you up a little bit. The last kind of stock that we are going to talk about here is, this is a chromium card here. So this is a Prizm card. So the Optic, Prizms, they're both going to have this kind of card stock. It's a little bit thicker than the stock, also a little bit more rigid. So that helps the corners. It also helps the edges. However, the surfaces on these are a little bit more susceptible to scratching, print lines, that kind of thing. So those are the 4 different card stocks that we wanted to show you guys, but we also, that kind of transitions us into the base versus Prizm. So here you can see on the left we have a base Greg Newsome card, and then on the right we have its Prizm parallel. And you can tell that it's a Prizm because of that rainbow finish that it has on top of it. You can see as Cody kind of turns it left and right, you can see the rainbow effect on it. Now that's the first way that you can tell the difference between these cards. But when you flip it over, you can see that the top right corner of the card on the right side says Prizm on it. Now, the Prizm is basically the Panini version of the Topps Refractor card. So it's going to be a little bit shinier. It's going to look more appealing to the eye, and that is what, you know, investors, collectors, we're all looking for. We like the shinier cards, and it is also much more rare than the base card is. You're only going to get one or a couple Prizms in a box, a retail box, as opposed to the 20 to 50 base cards that you're going to get. So it's much more rare as well. So
yeah, and John hit the next section of a card feature on the head as far as the parallel goes, right? So let's just start off here. We have the same exact card and it's just two different card appeals. You have the base card and then you have the refractor. So this refractor, or this silver prism, is going to be a parallel of the base card. Now let's dive into a little further examples here. So let's take Trevor Lawrence from the 2021 Panini Mosaic set. So we got card number 301. Both of them are have the prism stamp there, right? So we already know that this is going to be a parallel of the base card, which I believe is just standard gray. Now when we flip it over, we're going to be able to identify the differences here. So we have a green mosaic compared to a blue reactive. So this is a perfect example of a parallel card. Now parallel cards can also have other things such as serial numbers, which is what we'll cover here in a second. But they also have photo variation. Now since we're football nuts here, we're going to bring out another football card from the same year, different set. So we have Panini Prizm with Zach Wilson. Now if we flip the
those
cards
are nice
real
looking
quick,
cards, Cody.
I'll just wait till I'm gonna have a feast with this guy. So we have 332, which is going to be the true base card or true rookie card from the set of Zach Wilson, and then you have V332. So V stands for variation, and Panini was so kind to identify the card with the V there. Now if you're a Topps collector or baseball collector, you'll know that they pull tricks on you guys all the time. They'll do photo variations and you won't even know it unless you can compare the base card with the photo variation. But back to our example here, they noted that this is a variation card, and as you can tell, we have a silver refractor and then a
no
huddle
Yep.
disco. So even so, there's a silver prism of this card and there's a no huddle disco of this card as well. So that is a good example of parallel cards, and it's important to note because generally speaking, your parallel cards are going to be more valuable than this true base card, just simply because they're more rare, and that's going to be the theme throughout this entire video. The more rare it is, the more dollars you're going to be able to demand.
Absolutely.
So as I mentioned, there's going to be numbered cards in sets that manufacturers release on an annual basis. So right here we have J.J. Watt in the National Treasure set. As you can tell from this card is numbered to 25. So manufacturers will increase the rarity for certain cards by numbering them. They're stamping a number on these cards. So there's 25 cards that look exactly like this. There can be higher numbers, such as out of 50, out of 99, 199, or it can go as low as 1 of 1.
The 1 of 1.
Yeah, so for example, 2021 Prizm, Mac Jones was a black finite, I believe, 1 of 1. And that is
such a
obviously
nasty card.
Going to demand more money, because guess what? There's literally only one in existence. So if you check out cardboardconnection.com, they'll provide you checklists so that you can identify the specific parallel for that number for the card. So for example, if you looked up this National Treasures card, let's just say out of 25 it's silver, but a card numbered out of 5 with the same imagery could be, maybe it has gold trim, for example. So
right.
Numbered cards, and I know that's one of John's favorites.
I love numbered cards. You never know exactly how many cards of a set that they are producing unless it is serialized. So I know that they've been printing Prizm like crazy right now. You don't know how many silver Prizms are out there. You do know exactly how many numbered cards are out there, though. So I think going forward in the future, that's really going to secure your investment, as far as you know exactly how many of these are out there. You know exactly how rare or how short the print is for this card.
Yep.
So that's going to go ahead, and I know Cody just kind of talked a little bit about true base cards, and when he says true base, there could be inside of a set numbered 1 through, let's say, 400. Those would be the true base cards. Okay. Now inside of a set, though, there's also additional cards which are called inserts, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about here right now. And in general, inserts are going to be worth just a little bit less than the base card. So on the right here, we have a Kyle Pitts orange rookie card. This comes out of his score set. and you can see that it is number 75 there at the bottom. Now, because it says 75, that means that it is part of the true base set. It's, you know, in between 1 and 400. Now, the card on the left is going to be the insert version, or one of the inserts. There could be multiple inserts in each set. And it is the exact same photo, just a little bit more zoomed out. But when we flip the card over, you can see that the number on this one is TB6. Typically, inserts are going to have numbers, or letters rather, in front of the number. So as opposed to 75, this one's going to be TB6. And those letters are really how you tell if it's an insert or not.
Yeah.
And one other kind of insert that I want to talk about real briefly here are case hits, and this is really the kind of inserts that you want. As I said earlier, inserts are typically less valuable. That is with the exception of the case hit. So a case hit would be something like a Kaboom, like a Downtown, like a Color Blast. Those are the chase cards that you are really looking for. And if you are lucky enough to get like a Patrick Mahomes Kaboom, oh my goodness, that is a good place to be right there. If you have one and want to get rid of it for whatever reason, just send it over to us. I can give you all of our contact information at the end, you know. But anyways, those are the kinds of inserts that people really, the collectors are really looking to get. Very sought after cards there.
Yep, and we are almost done, so just continue to bear with us. We have about 3 more notes that we want to hit on, and the first of those 3 is going to be autographs. So cards within sets, I guess you can almost name it a parallel, but cards will actually come with an autograph on it. So here in this example, we have a Denzel Mims from Contenders Optic, and it has an autograph. Now let's see what type of autograph. You zoom in here, and to this beautiful autograph.
What
here,
an autograph.
You cannot see any plastic behind the ink. So therefore, we are going to assume that this is an on-card autograph. Actually, we're not going to assume. We are going to declare that this is an on-card autograph. In comparison, we have this Leaf Zach Wilson, where in the background, you can actually see some plastic there. Now, Panini, as opposed to Leaf, will actually have a watermark, I believe that we're going to call it, on the sticker to identify it as a sticker as well. It kind of helps it out a little bit more. But the third type of autograph is going to be a cut autograph. So prime example is Babe Ruth, RIP to the legend. He is not going to be signing any more cards, and there's going to be no stickers of his signature out there in existence. So typically what manufacturers will do, if they're lucky enough to get their hands on an object, such as a document or a letter or something like that, with Babe Ruth's signature, they'll actually cut it out and they'll insert it into a card, therefore a cut autograph. Now, before we transition back to John for the last 2 and 3 points, I just want to mention live autographs versus autographs that are done at the time of manufacture. So in this example with Denzel Mims, we can identify if this was a live autograph or done at the time of manufacture by flipping the card over and looking for the Panini guarantee. So in this example, we can tell that this was done at the time of manufacture. It also means that Denzel Mims had this in his hands, the card in his hands at the time of possession when he signed it. In comparison, you have a live autograph, which Justin Herbert did a lot last year. He signed a lot of cards for fans, and then people actually sent that to get graded by PSA, where they guarantee that the autograph was authentic. Now, in comparison, Justin Herbert card that was signed at the time of manufacture to one that was signed live, the one that was signed at manufacture is going to demand a ton more money than the live autograph, regardless of the card, regardless of how pretty it was. So keep that in mind.
Yep, just another little tidbit for you to hold on to. Now, like Cody mentioned, almost done, but I do want to talk about patch cards before we wrap this up. So patch cards, there's just a general rule of thumb that you just need to remember. You know, the more colors, the better. All right. So there's going to be a whole slew of different kinds of patches, swatches out there. The more colors, the better. Make sure you remember that. So right here we have an AJ Brown. This is going to be a patch card. You can see that it is just a plain napkin card there, just one color. You don't want that, but you know, sometimes that's what you get. And I've even seen numbered cards that are numbered to like 10 with a single color on it. I own one actually.
Those napkins.
But they're going to come in a variety of sizes. So as you can see, these are going to be the smaller rookie swatches that you see on the right side, and then those are just kind of the average size patches that you have. But you also have jumbo and mammoth patches, which are going to be much larger, take up a much larger surface area of the cards. And then you can also have full booklets of patches and swatches as well, which you might find out of the playbook series, playbook set. So that's going to be a full booklet that will have patches on either side of the book. So with that being said, there's actually multiple materials that you can put inside of the different cards. So obviously the most typical is going to be, you know, jersey material, but you can also put anything in there. If you can wear it, you can put it in there. I've seen helmets, I've seen gloves for baseball, I've seen bats, I've seen basketballs, you know, whatever. You can put it in there, and you know, the more rare that material is, you know, the better for you, the more collectible it is. The last thing that I want to note about patch cards is there is a difference between game-worn materials or game-used materials, and some cards will actually say that this was not used in any specific event. Does that one actually say?
Such as this one. Yeah,
this enclosed authentic memorabilia is not from any specific game or event. So that's probably going to be the lower tier.
It's awful.
That's awful. I mean, it's like, hey, we found this piece of this piece of what is it? Cloth.
Jersey.
Yeah, we have this cloth. We're going to throw it in this card. You're going to pay for it.
They cut this from a jersey from Fanatics.
Yeah.
Whereas this one,
that AJ Brown actually wore that jersey, right? Is that what it says?
Player worn material.
There you go.
And then you have event worn too. So keep in mind. That's long loss. I don't think you're ever going to find that again.
But anyways, the point we're trying to make is if they've worn it, it's going to be more valuable, more rare than some piece of fabric in Fanatics that they just sliced up and put in this card. All right, so that is all of the different kinds of unique card features that you can have, but you can have a combination of all of those features in one card. So it is very, very possible to have a Prizm that is numbered.
Okay.
That has an autograph on it.
All right.
That is also a patch. You can have a rookie patch autograph, numbered 1 out of 1.
Let's go.
That's the one I want. Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence. You can have all of that stuff on one card, and that just increases the value of the card. Obviously, the more rare features that are on the card, the more valuable that it's going to be in the future. Now, the one exception to that combination rule that I kind of threw out there right now is case hits. Case hits are not going to be numbered. They're not going to have autographs. They're not going to have patches on them. They are going to be, you know, just whatever it is. It's going to be downtown. It's going to be stained glass. It's going to be color glass.
They're going to know.
That's it. You're going to know that it was a case hit. So that is the one exception to the combinations that I would say. But obviously, the more features, the more rare it is, the more valuable it's going to be.
So now that we've shown all of the card features to you guys, and we really tried to do a good job with the limited inventory that we have to show you exactly what we talked about in this video. If you have a second, go back, check it, take your time before you purchase a card, and make sure you understand it completely. We try to outline it to our best ability, but at the end of the day, there's just a few things you just need to remember.
This is all you need to know. Write this down.
Are you ready?
Number 1.
You need to target the right player.
Scorers.
From the right year.
Rookies.
With the right card features.
Rookie patch autos. Out of 1.
At the right price.
3.
Okay.
That's it right
best.
there.
I don't care. I'm taking any card for free.
Okay.
But if you can do those things, you'll really protect your money, and hopefully you maximize your profit from all those investments that you're making in the sports card hobby. So we know that this is just video 2 of 6. There was a lot of content, but please be sure to watch the future videos that we're going to be dropping every Monday from here on out. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're nothing but cardboard, and we'll see you next time.